What's up, guys? I'm gonna teach you how to do air swings and Ratchet Deadlocked. I'm gonna teach you all the ones that we use in New Game Plus No LC category. So first of all, what is an air swing? It's this. Yeah, as you can see, Ratchet's just kind of wrench swinging across the air, not losing any height, at least not yet. Give some time. There you go. So yeah, all of them involve different setups, and all of them can cause trouble for runners. So I'm gonna teach you the setups to make them really easy, or at least easier. So yeah, it's gonna be a tutorial for every time we use it in New Game Plus No LC. So first, how do you initiate an air swing? Well, first you gotta find a damage source. So right here we're gonna use this Leviathan, and then you need to be carrying some momentum into it. And when I say momentum, you might think charge boots based on the demonstration you just saw, but this can also involve walking. You can walk into it, and you can still do an air swing out of it, as shown here. So you're gonna carry momentum into your damage source, and you will usually do a state cancel, which, if you don't know what a state cancel is, it quite literally cancels Ratchet's state. Like right here, I'm charging, I did that, and now he's not. This also enables the hyper stack, which is this game's infinite jump, if you don't know. I don't think I properly showed that off, but yeah. So you'll likely be doing a state cancel with one exception. And then you're going to take an additional amount of damage. The amount of additional hits you need to take will depend on which air swing we're doing. So you take one hit to get an air swing initiated, and then you take a couple of extra hits because it'll extend the amount of time that Ratchet can be swinging in the air. You can of course adjust your angles, as you saw me do just now. However, you want to be mindful, because there's certain intervals in which you don't want to be touching the left analog stick. What the hell? The fusion rifle just didn't fire. So there are certain moments where you don't want to touch the analog stick when Ratchet is doing an air swing. And these moments, so let me show you the wrench combos. So Ratchet does a triple strike. He does a swing to the left, one to the right, and then he spins. So when you initiate the air swing, he'll also do the throwing one, and then he'll start doing the triple strikes. When he begins this animation, it's like in between the end of the spin and this. Do not touch the left analog stick, or he will instantly fall. In fact, I think I actually did that like a few seconds ago. So yeah, that's everything you need to know about the air swings. So let me try and see if I can show it. Yep, you also just don't want to touch the analog stick when he's throwing the wrench. So the first one we do is on the second mission of Sarathos, and our damage source is this Leviathan right here. There's two attacks he can do. The projectiles, which he just did, and the laser. Neither of these matter. You can initiate the air swing just fine with these. You're going to charge into it, and you don't need to do the state cancel. It's the only time you don't need to do this, going into the controls menu. However, you will need to take 2 additional hits to be able to air swing long enough to get to the end. So, did not mean to do that. Taking 2 additional hits is enough to reach the end, so I don't have a lot of height. And then you're going to adjust in mid-air. You're going to adjust mid-swing to go to the end of the level, which is right there. I did not carry a lot of speed. If you charge into the enemy and you don't like charge for very long, you're likely gonna fail the air swing. So just keep that in mind. So here, you want to charge into the slope, but if you don't have a lot of height like I do, you can kind of go to this part around, like where you see this bush. The slope extends a little further down, so you can kind of point there, and it'll give you enough height, and then just charge into the end of the level. So yeah, that's the first air swing we do in the run. So the next 2 are going to be on Planet Kronos. And just for reference, in the description, I'm going to be giving a rating for each air swing based on whether I recommend doing it in the run how much I recommend it based on your skill level. So whether I think a beginner should do this, whether you should wait a little bit, whether you need to be like really, really high level. So yeah, that way you know which ones to do and which ones not to do. So yeah, skip and head to Kronos. So this is Infiltrate the Cathedral, and at the start of the level, there's these two Dread Zone Strikers. This is our damage source. So you're gonna walk forward, and then they're gonna start shooting at you. Charge into their bullet. Now keep in mind, there is a very rare chance that the bullet doesn't hit you because we're playing on the easiest difficulty, so you know they might not hit. It is very rare that this happens, and if they do miss you and you charge past them, you can just instantly restart the mission. It won't lose you too much time. Now you're gonna do a state cancel. The reason we do a state cancel for all of the air swings besides the Sarathos one is because it helps extend the time that we can spend air swinging, and also because the Leviathan damages Ratchet so fast that the state cancel is just not necessary. In every other instance, we either don't take a lot of hits or we have to wait several seconds in between the hits to build up the amount of time that we can spend air swinging. So yeah, after this, look at the enemies, because if you don't look at them, they will likely not shoot you. They're gonna like end up missing you. Their bullets will miss you if you look in the opposite direction. So now you're hit again. When this is a little important detail. Once you're hit a second time, turn the camera to the left and face the ending point. And I mean it when I say turn to the left. Do not turn to the right, because there's a weird thing where Ratchet doesn't instantly when Ratchet goes into first person, if you like exit quickly, he will not swing in the direction the camera was last facing. So let me show it off. Oh, bullets missed me. We just walk forward. You can actually charge as soon as you start, and there is a chance that you get hit, but it only saves a couple seconds, so I don't go for it. Also, another thing, sometimes the robots can get up close to you and smack you with their gun. This is a preferable attack. So anyways, let me try and show off the camera thing. So, state cancel, and then let's say I get a bit ambitious, and now Ratchet's not swinging where the camera was facing. So why does this matter? Because if you look to the right, then you will have to go across the grind rails, and you risk getting caught on the grind rail and losing several seconds because of that little quirk with the camera if you turn the camera to the right when you do the air swing. So I really mean it when I say look to the left after you take an extra hit of damage, or at least keep the camera pointed for more than a second in your intended direction. So one shot, state cancel. Second shot, look to the left, and then just go. Adjust accordingly if needed. And yeah, that is the air swing for Infiltrate the Cathedral. And now onto Infiltrate the Cathedral Part 2. Alright, so this is one of the harder ones in the game. So earlier on Sarathos, I mentioned how your damage source, you need to carry momentum into your damage source, and that damage source can be anything, not damage source, the momentum, the way you carry momentum. You don't have to charge into your damage source, you can walk into it, and that is what we are going to do here. We are going to walk into these swarmers that spawn at the start, and we are going to do our state cancel, and we're going to take 3 extra hits afterwards for a total of 4. I did test this out with one additional hit and 2 additional hits, and I ended up slowing down. As you saw, like just now on Infiltrate the Cathedral Part 1, there was this thing where Ratchet kind of slowed down and then fell, which is not the same as him instantly stopping. That's if your time air swinging runs out. So I tried it with 1 and 2 additional hits, and that happened. So just to be safe, take 3 hits. It's not going to hurt you. And the other 2 things, there's 2 other things to know about this air swing. As soon as you spawn in, as soon as you start the mission, do a double jump. Like, take 1 or 2 steps and then double jump. The reason is because the bots can get stuck on the arches of this building, and thus it minimizes the chance of them attacking the swarmers and killing them. We don't want that. And now stand on this line. It'll bait out the swarmers. It's a good spot to bait out the swarmers. And now you're going to start walking into them. This part is the tricky part. This is the trickiest part. Walking into the swarmers, because sometimes Ratchet will kind of like slip past them. Like, let me show you. Like sometimes you'll be trying to take damage and like you'll just kind of slip and you won't take damage because he's moving so fast. So yeah, this is what makes it difficult. You're gonna have to practice this one a lot. And there's a chance that you pause early, so keep that in mind as well. So state cancel, and now take 3 additional hits, and then start the air swing. Oh, and that didn't happen. Also, another thing, make sure to face to the left of this grind rail so you don't risk getting caught. And actually, I guess it's a blessing that I failed at because I forgot to mention, this building, the Cathedral, is actually a slope. We're going to air swing into this building and there's going to be a slope that just gives Ratchet a lot of height. At which point we will turn to the end of the level, which is right there. So, more on that in a second. So, let's get this started. This time for reals. If you don't end up swinging at all, like you saw that Ratchet stood in place when he swung the wrench, it's probably because, it is most likely because you were not carrying momentum into it. So yeah. Right here, turn the camera to the end of the level, and you kind of have to gauge whether you have enough height to make it to the end. Like right here, I know that I have I was not supposed to do that. I accidentally ended the air swing. But right there, I knew that I had enough height to make it to the end without like bumping into the wall or having to do hyper snacks. 1, 2, 3. There we go. So yeah, going into the slope, and then you'll just adjust accordingly. Now, let's pretend I don't have enough height. Well, what can you do? If you're close to having enough height, you can deliberately end the air swing by doing another state cancel, as you saw, and then just start doing hyper stacks, and you will still make it to the end. So yeah, practice that one a lot, and be really mindful of all the details, like staying on the line and double jumping so that the bots don't get in your way. Because this is one of the hardest air swings in the entire run. It's a very big run killer, at least for me. Currently, it's a big run killer. I'll show off one more time. So get on the line. 1, 2, 3. Make sure not to get on the grind rail. I've never actually gotten caught on like that part of the grind rail, but just be safe and try not to touch it if you can. I don't actually know if you can get caught, so, and I don't care to test it. Just stay away from the grind rail if you can. Onto the Avenger tournament. Alright, so this is Climb the Tower of Power. This one is also pretty difficult, but as before, just practice it a lot and you'll be able to pull it off consistently. So first, let's actually start the mission. Okay, and let's not do that. So first you're going to jump across the platforms. You don't need to do any fancy movement. You can just jump across them like normal. If you want to do something a little optimal, you can do a falling neutral double jump here. Now, right there, as you see, there's 2 turrets. And you can, I don't really know how to get them to spawn in the order that you want. I don't know exactly how to manipulate the order. I have ideas, but I'm not 100% sure. It is slightly preferable that the left one activates if you want to set it up from here, but just to be safe, when you get over here, stay like on this stay like kind of like on the rim of this platform, and then trigger them and get here next to these 2 ammo crates. That way, no matter which turret is activated first, you will be able to initiate the air swing correctly, because you're going to take 1 hit from one turret to initiate it, and then another turret will the other turret will provide you the extra bit of damage to give you enough time to pull off the air swing. So stay cancel, and then as you're turning, you're going to turn into this corner, by the way. That second turret will eventually hit you. and then swing into this corner. Make sure to let Ratchet throw the wrench entirely. Don't touch the analog stick while he does that. Now you're gonna just kind of start swinging back. Now this one can be hard to control. You're gonna go up this slope up the tower. So let me try this. You're gonna go up this slope. Oh, this can be a little bit tricky. So that's like the kind of sloped area. I'm gonna show you two ways to do this. First, I'm gonna show you the backup way. If your air swing ends like right here, like it did for me, what you can do, you can jump up here. And actually, if you fall down there, as you saw, oh, I'm back in bounds, so I can no longer show it off. I'll have to start the mission over again. So, give me 1 second. I'll take this time to remind you of the steps. You can jump across these platforms normally if you want. Go here to the ammo boxes, make sure both turrets get triggered. Charge into one, state cancel, let the other one hit you, and then you're going to charge into this corner. Go up the slope, and now if it runs out or like something happens, be careful by the way, because you can actually clip in bounds of this thing and it will kill Ratchet. So make sure to pay attention and not clip into anything if you can, especially this. So what you can do is you can jump up here and you can charge over there and you can do a hyper stack. I'm gonna show it off. You can actually do a flail cancel. I kind of forgot to do that. You can actually do a flail cancel and then do a hyper stack to save it. Just doing the flail cancel followed by hyper strike is not enough, because you will most likely fall down. So yeah, flail cancel plus a hyper stack, or 2 hyper stacks as I just did if you want. It doesn't really matter. One is faster than the other, but it's a backup strat. So now what you actually want to do is this spike right here that Ratchet was right next to, there's going to be another one at the upper level. When Ratchet is at an equivalent height to that second spike, you're going to turn back. Now, oh, okay, I did it a little prematurely, but roughly around that. So let's try that again. I was a bit too early. That was my mistake. So hop across the platforms, and then go to the 2 ammo boxes. Charge into one turret, state cancel, let the other one damage you. Air swing into the corner, and then up this slope. And then once you get above that spike, it's better to say above the spike now that I think about it. Now that I've seen that, above this spike, so kind of in between here, you turn back and you will land on the top of the tower, and then you will finish off the mission like normal. So this is a lost and found. So first things first, you are most likely going to have the supernova when you begin this mission, because the previous level that we finished is the Crusader tournament, which has reactor, and we finish him off with the supernova. So before you start, don't walk forward, pull out the flail. The reason you don't want to walk forward, why I don't recommend it, is because you might trigger some enemies. It's actually gonna be a while before you trigger some enemies, but just to be safe, just stay in place and equip the flail. And the reason we're gonna equip the flail is to do this bit of movement right here. This is gonna trigger the dropship, and we want to trigger it while our bots are away from us. We're using that bit of movement with the flail to create some distance between the bots, and the reason why is because otherwise there's a chance that the dropship targets the bots instead, and we don't want that to happen. So let's see how likely am I to get targeted if I go here without doing the flail tech. Oh, the dropship still targeted me. But again, to minimize the risk and because it's faster, pull out the flail and go this way. Now, next thing to note, pull out the magma cannon. We played this game in lock strafe mode, and Ratchet doesn't strafe with the scorpion flail, so it'll be difficult to adjust yourself. You want to create some distance between the dropship's missiles, because otherwise, if you're charged less, like a super short time, like like there, like I barely charged, you will not be air swinging for long. So, Scorpion Flail, pull out a weapon like the Magma Cannon or the Dual Vipers, anything that Ratchet strafes with. Create some distance. Wow, I've never seen that before, where it's targeting me but it hits my bots. Flail movement. Have a strafing weapon. I've never seen that either. Wow, okay. Just my luck. And it's targeting the bots now. That can still happen even if you do this movement, so just keep that in mind, unfortunately. Anyways, charge into it, and you're going to do a state cancel, and it's going to hit you one last time. It's going to hit you a second time. And this will be just enough to go to the end. Don't spend too much time in first person, because else you'll like run out of time to like air swing. If you want to be really cool, you can technically like latch onto the bolt crank, although you're most likely going to get your ass kicked by these enemies, so I don't really recommend trying this. I'll show this off one more time. Have the flail ready, swing over here, pull out a strafing weapon, charge into the dropship and state cancel. Let it hit you one last time. You'll be able to tell if it hits you based on the screen turning red. And then just face towards this big building and just start charging. And then we do a second one on the final mission, Let There Be Light. And this is one of the hardest ones in the game. So, this is how you do it. So, the first thing to note, this dropship must go. And the reason is because you see those enemies that just jumped out of nowhere, they do not spawn until that dropship is destroyed. So, we're going to spawn in, and we're going to find a way to destroy the dropship. That's how I do it, doing some fancy movement followed by some quick switching. And this part isn't necessary, but I do pull out a strafing weapon usually, and then I charge into the laser beams of the cycloids. Now, of course, oh great, game automatically gave me a swing shot, so I couldn't pause. The cycloid laser actually doesn't extend very far, which is going to make this a bit tricky, like right there. Because we play in Couch Potato, if we were to play on a higher difficulty, the lasers would have a better chance of hitting us, but we obviously are not playing in the lower difficulties. And wow, I'm actually having a lot of trouble of getting the enemy to hit me. Okay, there we go. State cancel, and now I recommend a minimum of 3 hits. 1, 2, 3. And then face that big building over there. Now, something to keep in mind, you can actually get the game to eat your square inputs, as in nothing will happen if you press square. If you air swing over that rock, let me show you. This rock right here, you can't input any square inputs. In fact, none of the guns seem to work, or at least the Scorpion Flail doesn't. So yeah, do not point in the direction of the rock if you can help it. Just try and point straight for the building at the end. So, destroy the dropship, charge into the cycloid laser, state cancel, and then take a minimum of 3 extra hits. 1, 2, 3, and then boom. And now we be vibing for a little bit. There's a bit of a sloped area at this asteroid that we'll be aiming towards. Adjust accordingly. And then you have made it to the end. So yeah, that one will also need a lot of practice. Definitely one of the hardest ones in the game, but it is definitely worth the time save. So this is the last air swing we do in New Game Plus No Load Cancel, and this is the only one in which our damage source is not an enemy, but rather these explosive barrels hidden throughout the level. So I'm going to be using 2 different barrels, Barrel 1 and Barrel 2. Barrel 1 is the faster one to use, but it only saves like a second, and it's a little bit riskier because the thing where you slow down and fall is actually likely to occur if you use that barrel. Barrel 2 is a little safer in that regard, but it's not very difficult to use Barrel 1, so yeah, just keep that in mind. The other thing to note, whoa, I got the glitch where I caused a bunch of enemies to spawn. When you shoot the barrel, this tip won't apply if you're playing any percent because you won't have all the weapons. Use the fusion rifle. The reason why is because most of your other weapons, like the dual raptors, the mine launcher, can stop you in place, or they're not good for shooting the barrels, like the mine launcher. Like they can stop you in place like that, and you know, certain weapons like the silencer will lag the game, or at least they can lag the game. So, and then the reason why we don't use the magma cannon is because the magma cannon actually is a bit, it's a bit more difficult to get it to blow up the barrel. Like right there, that didn't actually happen to me, but like I have more trouble getting the barrel to blow up with the magma cannon. So what I use instead is the fusion rifle, just to be 100% certain. Like right there, like it didn't blow up the barrel. Granted, I wasn't aiming that close to it, but the sniper rifle is a much more preferred alternative. So I'll show you the movement chains I do. These movement chains, you do not need to replicate them. You can practice them if you want, but this is the movement chains if you're like a really advanced player, to just minimize the time you spend setting this up. So at the start, I'll do a flail cancel over this little fence, and then I'll do a end lag cancel jump, and I'll pull out the sniper, and then I'll charge into the barrel. I kind of charge into the side of it like that. When it explodes and I take damage, I will do a state cancel. And now for this one, you do not have time to adjust. In all the other air swings, you had time to, oh, careful not to lock on there. You had time to adjust a little bit, stay in first person. Not this one, because you are going to run out of time like very quickly. So just adjust on the fly, make small adjustments. I do recommend adjusting Ratchet in a way that he'll end up very close to this explosive barrel. And the reason why is because if you don't, there's a chance that he'll slow down and fall when you're around here. So just to be safe, have him get as close as possible to the platform. And now I'll show you how to do it with barrel 2. So here, this time you double jump, and then, oh, what the, okay, and that's a bit unusual. I actually don't, that was not the expected reaction. Anyways, right here, that's barrel 2. You can actually swag out a bit by swinging into the end of the level like that. You only lose a second if you use barrel 2, and it is a little bit safer. So if you're a newbie, while I do recommend just practicing with barrel 1, there is no harm in going for barrel 2 at all. That is the risk with barrel 1. That's why I said go towards the barrel on that bridge, or just use barrel 2. And yeah, that is it for all the air swings that we do in New Game Plus No Load Cancel. I am gonna show off one more that we do in any percent though, so I'll show you that right now. So this is a higher ground in the any percent route that we currently have. We do this mission because it can be completed quickly, and we do it for dread points. It's a dread challenge, and as you see, it takes place on the Tower of Power. So this is also useful for New Game Plus all missions, since you have to do every challenge, including dread challenges. So instead of turrets, we're gonna have these. Here, actually, I don't know how much this will affect it, but I'm gonna turn off the ninja costume since we don't have that in any percent. I forget what they're called. The tremors. The tremors have an attack where they will do this. They'll like slam the ground, and some gray stuff will come out. You will charge into this attack. They'll do it like pretty much every time. Every single time I've restarted the mission, they initiate with that attack. They'll do a state cancel, and they'll damage you quick enough that you don't need to like really wait in place for. Unlike the oh, hold on. You know, you don't need to like wait a certain amount of time. You can basically just instantly like set up and start the air swing. And yeah, that is Oh, let me show that off one more time. So you'll spawn in. I'm not very good at this strat right here. You'll spawn in and you'll charge into the tremors like gray projectiles. State cancel and just wait for a little bit. They'll hit you quickly, and then you'll do the same thing as in climb the Tower of Power, as the one I showed you. Ooh, I actually did not get a lot of time on that air swing. So I guess you need to take a bit more damage, it seems. Or maybe I just didn't... I actually don't really remember how I set that up, so I can't really gauge what I did wrong there. I'm just going to hyperstack up here. There we go. So let's try that again. So 1. Just to be safe, I'll do 2. So yeah, charge here. And then go up here, and just like in Climb the Tower of Power, once you get up to the spike, you will turn into the turn-in and finish off the mission. So yeah, that is all the air swings that we do in no LC, plus one that we use in any percent. So if you have any more questions, be sure to ask the Ratchet and Clank Discord. And good luck with your runs. This is, keep in mind, this is a very difficult strat to do. Or at least, usually the air swing strat is a very difficult strat to do. So do not feel discouraged. It will take a lot of practice. Some of them are easy, but some of them will take just a lot out of you. So do feel free to ask the speedrun Discord. Refer back to this video. Just practice it a lot. The time save from these is worth it.